Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn English with Podcast Conversation. I'm Thomas. Today, we'll talk about a common and easy conversation starter talking about the weather. It's a great way to practice small talk and build confidence.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer. Discussing the weather is something people do every day, whether it's sunny, rainy, or windy. It's a friendly, low-pressure way to start a conversation and connect with others. Let's explore how you can master this topic. One of the easiest ways to start a conversation is by commenting on the current weather. For example, you can say, "It's such a beautiful day today." Or "It's been raining nonstop, hasn't it?" Simple sentences like these invite others to respond.
Exactly, Jennifer. Another good phrase is, "The weather's been unpredictable lately, hasn't it?" This works well because it's a shared experience. The other person is likely to agree or share their thoughts, keeping the conversation flowing.
And don't forget to use descriptive words. Instead of just saying it's cold, you can say it's freezing today or the wind is really strong. These small changes make your sentences more vivid and engaging.
That's true. You can also ask a question like, "Did you hear the forecast for tomorrow?" People love talking about upcoming weather and it keeps the conversation moving. Plus, it's a good way to practice asking and answering questions.
And when it's sunny, you can say something like, "What a gorgeous day, isn't it?" People are usually in a good mood when the weather's nice, so it's a positive way to connect. You can even add a personal touch like, "It's perfect for a walk."
If the weather isn't great, you can comment on that too. For example, "It's been so gloomy this week," or "I can't believe how much it's snowing." These phrases help you connect because everyone experiences the same weather.
Absolutely, and don't shy away from humor. For instance, if it's really hot, you can say, "It feels like we're in a desert today." Humor often makes the conversation lighthearted and enjoyable for both people.
Another tip is to relate the weather to your plans. You can say, "I was planning a picnic, but the rain ruined it." This gives the other person a chance to empathize or share their own experiences with weather and plans.
And lastly, always keep a positive tone. Even if the weather is bad, phrases like, "Hopefully, it clears up soon" show optimism. It helps keep the conversation friendly and shows you're someone who looks on the bright side.
Well said, Jennifer. Weather is universal, and by learning a few key phrases and responses, you can easily start a natural conversation with anyone. It's all about sharing observations and showing interest in the other person's thoughts.
Talking about the weather can go beyond simple comments. For example, you can share how it affects your mood. You might say, "I feel so energetic when it's sunny, but rainy days make me want to stay in bed." This invites the other person to share their feelings too.
That's a great point, Jennifer. Weather often influences activities, so mentioning what you plan to do is another conversation starter. For instance, "It's such a warm evening, I'm thinking of having dinner outside." What about you? Sharing plans creates an interactive dialogue.
You can also ask for suggestions related to the weather. If it's hot, try saying, "This heat is intense. Do you have a favorite way to stay cool?" Questions like this make the other person feel involved and can lead to engaging answers or stories.
And weather is a perfect way to talk about travel. You could say, "I love how mild the weather is here. Where I'm from, summers are much hotter." Sharing contrasts gives the other person a chance to ask questions or add their own experiences.
Yes, and linking weather to past experiences works well too. For instance, "This snow reminds me of my childhood winters. My siblings and I would build snowmen all day." Sharing personal memories makes the conversation warm and relatable.
And don't forget to use weather to express preferences. You might say, "I actually prefer cold weather to hot. It's easier to bundle up than cool down." Preferences often spark a back and forth discussion because people love sharing their opinions.
Weather can also lead to funny stories. For example, I got caught in the rain yesterday without an umbrella. It felt like I was in a movie scene. Adding humor makes your conversation lively and helps the other person open up with their own stories.
Exactly. Weather is also a great way to talk about future plans. You could say, "It looks like it'll be sunny all weekend. I'm planning a hike. Do you enjoy hiking?" This not only keeps the conversation going, but also shifts the topic naturally to shared interests.
And don't overlook seasonal changes. Comments like, "I can't wait for spring to start. Winter feels so long," can resonate with others. Seasonal conversations often lead to discussions about favorite activities like skiing in winter or swimming in summer.
When it's extreme, the weather can also inspire shared complaints. You might say, "This humidity is unbearable. How do you manage in this heat?" Complaining in a light-hearted way can make conversations more relatable and spark empathy.
That's true, but balance is key. If the other person seems cheerful, try being more optimistic. For example, even though it's cloudy, I like how the cool breeze feels today. Positivity can set a better tone and help you connect on a brighter note.
And weather idioms are another fun way to spice up your conversations. For instance, you could say, "When it rains, it pours," to describe a busy or unlucky day. Using idiomatic expressions adds variety and makes your English sound more advanced.
Yes, idioms like a ray of sunshine or under the weather are commonly used in English. You might say, "She's such a ray of sunshine, always cheerful," or "I've been feeling under the weather lately." These phrases enrich your vocabulary and conversation.
Another creative approach is comparing the weather to emotions. For example, "This foggy morning matches my sleepy mood," or "The bright sun feels like a burst of happiness." Metaphors like these make your speech colorful and expressive.
When talking to someone new, you can also connect weather to their hobbies. You might ask, "Do you like outdoor activities in weather like this?" Tailoring the conversation to their interests helps build rapport and keeps the exchange meaningful.
And weather discussions can be used to ask about someone's routine. You could say, "Do you still go jogging when it's this chilly?" Questions about habits tied to the weather can lead to stories, tips, or even shared interests like fitness.
Weather can also spark cultural comparisons. For example, in my country, summers are dry, but here, it's so humid. How do you handle it? This can lead to discussions about traditions, climates, or even travel destinations, enriching the conversation.
And when you want to keep the chat friendly, try complimenting the person indirectly. For instance, "You're lucky to live in a place with such mild weather, it's perfect." Compliments often make people feel appreciated and keep the conversation enjoyable.
Lastly, using weather apps can give you conversation material. You might say, "I checked the forecast, and it looks like a storm is coming tomorrow." Do you usually prepare for things like that? This shows you're thoughtful and interested in practical topics.
Those are excellent ideas, Jennifer. Weather conversations don't have to be boring. By adding personal experiences, preferences, or even humor, you can turn a simple topic into a meaningful and fun exchange. It's all about being creative and open.
Weather can serve as a great storytelling prompt. For instance, you can start with something like, "This chilly morning reminds me of a winter trip I took to the mountains. We had to hike through snow to reach our cabin, and the view was breathtaking." Sharing a vivid story draws people in and encourages them to share theirs.
That's a great tip, Jennifer. You can also use weather to revisit memories with family or friends. For example, "Rainy days make me think of my childhood when my siblings and I would play board games indoors." Nostalgic memories often strike a chord and create an emotional connection in conversations.
You're right, Thomas. Another idea is to relate the weather to local events. You might say, "It's so sunny today. Perfect for the farmer's market downtown. Have you been?" This not only introduces an activity but also helps the other person learn more about the local culture.
Absolutely, and you can also ask about their favorite type of weather. You could say, I love when it's slightly cloudy with a cool breeze. It's ideal for walking. What's your favorite weather? Questions like this make the conversation personal and interactive.
A fun way to keep the weather topic lively is by talking about the impact on food and drinks. For instance, cold weather always makes me crave hot chocolate. Do you have a go-to comfort food for winter? Food-related discussions are often enjoyable and relatable.
I like that approach, Jennifer, and you can also connect weather to personal habits. For example, I find it hard to get up early when it's so dark in winter. Do you feel the same? This kind of sharing encourages empathy and might reveal shared experiences.
Don't forget to link weather to seasonal traditions. For example, spring always makes me think of planting flowers in the garden. It's a family tradition. Seasonal habits or celebrations often lead to longer conversations about culture and values.
That's true. Jennifer, you can also highlight unexpected changes. For example, the forecast said it would rain, but look at this sunshine. Do you trust weather forecasts? Talking about surprises like this keeps the conversation dynamic and interesting.
Speaking of forecasts, you can also ask about long-term weather preferences. For example, if you could live anywhere based on the climate, where would you go? Questions like this invite creativity and can reveal fascinating insights about the other person.
And weather is a great way to explore how people adapt. You could say, it's amazing how cities in cold regions design everything for snow. What do you think about adapting to extreme climates? This can lead to engaging discussions about human resilience.
Another fun angle is weather-related hobbies. For instance, this sunny day is perfect for photography. Do you have hobbies that depend on the weather? Hobbies are a natural extension of any topic and often open up a lot of conversation pathways.
I agree. Jennifer, you can also use weather to talk about recent news. For instance, have you heard about the heat wave in Europe? It's been breaking records. Weather-related news is informative and adds depth to the discussion, showing you're well-informed.
It's also interesting to bring in comparisons. For example, this summer feels cooler than last year. Have you noticed how weather patterns seem to change? This can lead to deeper conversations about climate change or personal observations.
And if you're talking with someone from a different place, weather offers a chance to ask questions. You might say, I've heard winters in your hometown are harsh. How do people manage? This lets you learn about their background while keeping the conversation light.
You can also use weather to express gratitude. For example, I'm so grateful for this sunny day. It lifts my spirits. What kind of weather puts you in a good mood? Expressing positivity helps set a cheerful tone for the conversation.
That's a great idea. You can also talk about weather myths or sayings. For instance, my grandmother used to say, red sky at night, sailor's delight. Have you heard similar sayings? This adds a cultural or historical angle to the discussion.
And if you're running out of ideas, try linking weather to your surroundings. For example, the park looks beautiful in this weather. Do you enjoy walking here? Observing and commenting on your environment keeps the conversation natural and engaging.
Jennifer, another approach is connecting weather to health. For instance, cold weather often makes me feel stiff. Stretching helps. Do you notice weather affecting your health? This shows care and curiosity, making the exchange more meaningful.
Lastly, using humor always works. You might say, this wind is so strong I feel like I'm in a wind tunnel. A lighthearted comment makes the conversation fun and helps the other person relax and contribute in a cheerful way.
You're spot on, Jennifer. Weather conversations are more than just small talk. They can lead to deeper connections if you're thoughtful and creative. By sharing stories, asking questions, or using humor, you turn a simple topic into a memorable exchange.
Weather is an ideal conversation starter because it's something everyone can relate to, no matter where they are from. For example, saying, "It's so windy today. Do you like windy days?" opens the door for a discussion about personal preferences. People often have strong feelings about the weather, making it a lively topic.
Right. Jennifer, you can also connect weather to activities people enjoy. For example, this rain makes me want to curl up with a good book. How do you spend rainy days? This invites your conversation partner to share their habits and preferences, which makes the exchange more personal and engaging.
Absolutely, Thomas. It's great when the weather sparks a memory, like this sunshine reminds me of the summer I spent at the beach. Memories connected to weather can reveal a lot about a person's past experiences. By sharing such personal moments, you open up the conversation to deeper topics.
That's a great point, Jennifer. When talking about weather, you can also discuss how it affects your daily routine. For example, when it's this cold, I tend to wear layers all day. Does the weather change your daily habits? This question is practical, yet it opens the door to talking about routines and personal experiences.
I agree, Thomas. Weather can be a great way to connect on common ground. For example, this heat wave is unbearable. How are you managing? This shows you're empathetic and can lead to a conversation about how others cope with extreme weather conditions, such as staying cool or adapting to the heat.
Another way to use weather to deepen a conversation is by exploring how it impacts emotions. For instance, on days like this, I feel extra energetic. Does the weather have an impact on your mood? Talking about emotions tied to the weather can create a stronger bond between you and your conversation partner.
Exactly, Thomas. And when discussing weather, it's important to also ask about future plans. For example, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Got any fun plans? This shifts the conversation to something positive, and asking about plans makes it clear you're interested in what the other person enjoys.
That's a nice approach, Jennifer. You can also talk about weather-related challenges. For instance, the snow is beautiful, but it's so hard to drive in. How do you handle bad weather when you need to go out? Challenges make for interesting conversation because they reveal problem-solving skills and unique personal strategies.
Weather can also be used to talk about preferences in travel. You could say, if I could travel anywhere right now, I'd choose a place with mild temperatures and clear skies. What about you? This not only brings the conversation to a new direction, but also helps learn about each other's travel dreams.
Right, Jennifer. Weather is also a great topic when you want to discuss global differences. For instance, in my hometown, it doesn't snow much, but in your area, it must be common. How do people in your town prepare for snow? This creates an interesting cultural exchange about how weather is experienced differently across regions.
And when weather changes dramatically, it can spark interesting conversations. For example, it was sunny just an hour ago, but now it's pouring rain. Isn't that strange? Observing the sudden shift in weather not only adds energy to the conversation, but can also prompt a discussion about how weather is unpredictable.
That's true. Jennifer, using humor can also help break the ice. For example, it's so hot, I feel like I'm melting. Do you have any fun ways to stay cool? A humorous comment can make the conversation more enjoyable and less formal, helping both people feel comfortable and more willing to talk.
Another great way to use weather in conversation is by comparing it to other seasons. For instance, I miss the crisp air of fall. Summer is nice, but fall weather is so refreshing. Do you have a favorite season? This question invites your partner to share their preferences, which is a perfect way to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely, Jennifer. You can also incorporate the weather into discussions about outdoor activities. For example, the weather's perfect for a hike today. Do you enjoy hiking or other outdoor activities when the weather's nice? This keeps the conversation light and active, and who knows, you might discover a new hobby.
Weather also allows you to discuss what's happening around you. For instance, it's so foggy outside. It almost feels like a mystery movie. Have you ever been out in fog like this? This helps you turn the conversation into something playful and visually stimulating, which is always fun.
That's a fun way to look at fog. You can also talk about weather's effect on your environment. For instance, the wind is so strong today that it knocked over a few branches outside. Have you seen any wild weather changes recently? This observation can lead to discussions about local weather events and their impact.
When talking about weather, you can even reference the news. For example, I heard that the city's weather pattern is changing this year. Have you noticed any changes in your area? Discussing news makes the conversation feel more current and relevant, and you might learn something new in the process.
Another great way to use weather in conversation is to connect it to a specific event. For example, I've been planning my birthday picnic for next weekend and I'm hoping for good weather. Have you ever had a special event affected by the weather? This can lead to storytelling and sharing personal experiences.
Great point, Thomas. Weather also provides an opportunity to reflect on long-term changes. For instance, I've noticed the winters are getting milder here. Have you observed any big changes in the climate where you live? This can spark a thoughtful discussion on climate change, giving the conversation depth. Weather is more than small talk. It connects to larger ideas. For example, this drought reminds me of how water conservation is becoming critical. Do you practice any habits to save water? Conversations like this expand from weather to meaningful topics, making them more engaging and informative.
That's a good point, Jennifer. Weather can also lead to discussions about personal challenges. For example, all this rain makes me think about areas affected by flooding. Have you ever dealt with severe weather? Questions like these open the door for sharing personal stories and experiences, fostering connection.
I like that approach, Thomas. You can also connect weather to health. For instance, I always feel a little low on energy during gloomy weather. How does the weather impact your energy levels or mood? This can start a deeper conversation about self-care and how people adapt to their environments.
Yes, weather impacts everyone differently. It's also a way to discuss habits. For example, cold mornings like this make it hard for me to go jogging. Do you stay active in winter or do you switch up your routine? This not only keeps the topic engaging but also allows for practical advice and relatable anecdotes.
Another way to use weather is to tie it to dreams or aspirations. For example, this crisp morning reminds me of the time I wanted to visit Norway during the winter. Do you have a dream destination with unique weather? This broadens the conversation to travel and personal goals, which are always fun to explore.
I agree, Jennifer. Weather is a gateway to talking about the seasons. For example, spring is my favorite because everything feels fresh and alive. How do you feel about the changing seasons? This not only invites reflection but also helps you learn about someone's personality and preferences.
Another idea is to connect weather to food. For instance, this chilly day makes me crave hot chocolate. Do you have a favorite seasonal drink or food? This can be a delightful topic to explore, as food is a universal favorite, and tying it to weather makes the conversation feel more natural.
True, Jennifer, and food leads to traditions. For example, on snowy days, my family always made soup together. Do you have any traditions connected to the weather? Personal traditions add richness to the conversation and often reveal stories about family and culture which keep the exchange meaningful.
Speaking of family, weather can lead to fun childhood memories. For example, I remember making snowmen with my siblings during snowy winters. Did you have any special weather-related activities as a child? This shifts the focus to nostalgia, making the conversation heartfelt and personal.
That's a wonderful angle, Jennifer. You can also use weather to discuss creativity. For example, rainy days inspire me to paint or write. Does certain weather inspire you to be creative? This opens up a conversation about hobbies and talents, which can be an exciting way to bond with someone.
Another great idea is to use weather to discuss preferences for indoor versus outdoor activities. For example, when it's sunny, I love being outdoors, but on rainy days, I enjoy staying in and reading. What about you? This adds variety to the discussion and makes it dynamic and personal.
That's a great point, Jennifer. Weather can also lead to interesting facts. For example, did you know that lightning strikes the Earth around 100 times per second? Have you ever seen lightning up close? Sharing fun facts not only adds value but also makes the conversation intriguing.
Fun facts are fantastic, Thomas. You can also talk about how people adapt. For example, people in very snowy places build their homes differently. How do people in your area adapt to extreme weather? This makes the conversation unique and ties it to cultural or regional insights.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Another topic could be future predictions. For example, with weather patterns changing, experts predict more extreme events. How do you think our daily lives might change? This takes the conversation to a thoughtful and forward-looking perspective.
I love that, Thomas. You can also use weather as a way to discuss hobbies. For instance, sunny days are perfect for gardening. Have you ever tried gardening, or do you have another weather-related hobby? This introduces positive energy into the conversation and makes it lighthearted.
Good idea, Jennifer. Weather can even lead to cultural practices. For example, in some places, people celebrate festivals tied to the rainy season. Does your culture have any special celebrations related to weather or seasons? This opens up an exchange about traditions and heritage.
And don't forget extreme weather events. For example, I've always been fascinated by tornadoes. Have you ever experienced or learned about extreme weather? This not only makes the conversation exciting, but also allows for shared experiences or learning moments.
That's a great angle. Jennifer, you can also talk about movies or books connected to weather. For example, The Fog reminds me of a mystery novel I once read. Do you have a favorite story where weather plays a big role? This adds a creative and engaging twist to the conversation.
And finally, you can use weather to reflect on daily gratitude. For instance, this sunny morning makes me so thankful for small joys. What's something you're grateful for today? A positive reflection creates an uplifting end to the conversation and leaves a lasting impression.
Well said, Jennifer. To wrap up, weather is not just small talk, it's an entry point to deeper conversations about emotions, culture, and daily life. So next time you mention the weather, think of it as a gateway to something meaningful and engaging.
Weather shapes our lifestyles in so many ways. For instance, in colder regions, people often design homes with thick insulation to conserve heat. How does the weather in your area influence the way people live or build their homes? This kind of discussion adds cultural depth to a conversation.
That's true. Jennifer, even clothing choices are influenced by weather. For example, in tropical regions, people wear lighter fabrics like cotton to stay cool. What kind of clothes are common where you live, especially in extreme weather? Such questions spark interest and encourage sharing of daily habits.
Exactly, Thomas. Food preferences also vary with the weather. On rainy days, I enjoy hearty soups or warm bread. What are some seasonal dishes or drinks you love? These topics often bring a smile and can reveal a lot about someone's comfort foods and traditions.
Good point. Jennifer, let's talk about weather and transportation. Snowy areas often rely on snowplows and winter tires. Do you think weather impacts how people get around in your region? This opens up conversations about challenges and unique solutions tied to the environment.
Absolutely, Thomas. Weather also affects daily routines. For instance, during summer, I prefer to exercise early in the morning before it gets too hot. Does the weather influence your routine, like when you work out or run errands? Such questions make the conversation more personal.
I agree, Jennifer. Weather can even influence moods. I feel more productive on sunny days, but I enjoy the quiet calm of rainy evenings. How does the weather affect your mood or energy levels? This kind of reflection creates space for meaningful exchanges.
And don't forget social activities, Thomas. In the fall, I love outdoor events like pumpkin picking or hiking. Are there any seasonal activities you enjoy? These types of discussions naturally lead to sharing fun memories and personal experiences.
Exactly, Jennifer. Weather also inspires creativity. For example, rainy days often make me want to read or paint. Do you find certain weather conditions inspire you to be creative or try something new? This can lead to a broader discussion about hobbies and interests.
Speaking of creativity, Thomas, weather often influences art and music. Many famous paintings depict stormy seas or peaceful sunsets. Do you have a favorite work of art or song that reflects a specific weather theme? This adds an artistic angle to the conversation.
Great point, Jennifer. Weather also plays a role in sports and recreation. Snowboarding and skiing are unique to snowy areas, while surfing thrives in sunny coastal regions. Have you ever tried a sport that's connected to weather? This keeps the conversation active and engaging.
True, Thomas. Weather even shapes festivals. In some countries, people celebrate the rainy season with parades or dances. Are there any festivals in your culture tied to weather or the seasons? This invites people to share unique stories about their traditions.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Weather also drives innovations. Think of wind turbines or solar panels, they're solutions to harness nature's power. Have you seen any interesting weather-related technology in your area? This brings an educational and forward-looking aspect to the discussion.
And we can also discuss history, Thomas. For example, harsh winters have influenced historical events like battles or migrations. Can you think of any moments in history where weather played a crucial role? This adds depth and variety to the conversation.
Good one, Jennifer. Weather is also a key part of travel experiences. When visiting a new place, the climate often shapes what you pack or plan. Have you ever traveled to a destination with extreme weather, and how did you adapt? These stories are always fascinating to hear.
Exactly, Thomas. Even movies use weather to set the mood. A thunderstorm often signals tension, while a sunny beach scene feels relaxing. Can you think of a film or show where the weather added to the atmosphere? This lets people connect over shared entertainment experiences.
That's a good one, Jennifer. Weather can also teach us lessons about resilience. People who face hurricanes or blizzards often develop strong community ties. How do you think weather challenges help people grow or come together? This kind of topic fosters thoughtful dialogue.
Absolutely, Thomas. And weather is a great way to bring up childhood memories. Building snow forts or splashing in puddles are things many of us did as kids. Do you have a favorite weather-related memory from your childhood? Nostalgic stories always make conversations richer.
Very true. Jennifer, you can also discuss future aspirations. For example, I've always wanted to experience the northern lights, which depend on clear, cold skies. Is there a weather phenomenon or place you'd love to witness? This brings a sense of wonder to the conversation.
That's a beautiful way to end, Thomas. Weather is such a versatile topic, connecting us to our daily lives, history, and dreams. It's incredible how something so simple can spark meaningful conversations. This sentiment shows how weather can inspire deeper connections.
Exactly, Jennifer. So next time someone talks about the weather, don't see it as small talk, it's an opportunity to learn, share, and connect. Weather truly is a universal language that brings people together, and it's a skill worth mastering for better conversations.
When it comes to personal hobbies, everyone has unique interests that reflect their personality. For instance, I enjoy gardening because it's a great way to unwind and connect with nature. What hobbies do you have that help you relax or spend your free time? Let's talk about the activities that bring us joy.
Great point, Jennifer. I love playing the guitar in my free time. It's such a creative outlet, and it helps me clear my mind after a busy day. What kind of hobbies do you think are perfect for distressing or finding peace? Hobbies often tell us a lot about a person's lifestyle.
Definitely, Thomas. Some people find peace in more physical activities, like yoga or hiking. I'm also into cooking as it allows me to express myself through food. How do you feel about cooking or baking as a hobby? These types of hobbies bring a lot of satisfaction.
I agree. Jennifer, cooking is such a rewarding activity. For me, experimenting with new recipes is exciting. I love trying different cuisines from around the world. Do you have a favorite type of cuisine, or is there a dish you're always perfecting? Food truly connects us to culture.
Absolutely. Another hobby I enjoy is reading. Books can transport you to different worlds, and reading helps me relax before bed. What types of books do you like to read? Fiction, nonfiction, or perhaps something specific like mysteries or self-help books? Let's share some recommendations.
Reading is such an amazing hobby. Jennifer, I'm really into mystery novels. They're perfect for a rainy day. I also love exploring travel books for new destinations. What about you, Jennifer? Have you ever read a book that changed your perspective on life? Books can be transformative.
I agree, Thomas. I once read a book about mindfulness, and it really helped me focus on the present. It's amazing how books can change the way we see things. Have you ever tried meditation or mindfulness as a hobby? It can be a great way to reduce stress and enhance self-awareness.
That's a great suggestion, Jennifer. Meditation has become a huge part of my life lately. It helps me remain calm, especially when life gets busy. Do you have any tips for people who might be new to mindfulness or meditation as a hobby? It's always helpful to share ideas for beginners.
Absolutely. Starting with small steps is key. For example, I recommend starting with just 5 minutes of focused breathing each day. What about other relaxing hobbies, like journaling? I know it's a great way to organize thoughts and reflect on experiences. Have you tried journaling?
Great advice, Jennifer. Journaling can really help put things into perspective. I've been writing more lately to express my thoughts. It's like a personal conversation with yourself. Do you use prompts when you journal, or do you write freely? Prompts are a great way to get started.
I agree, Thomas. Writing freely feels natural for me. But sometimes I find it helpful to use prompts for specific topics, like gratitude or personal growth. Besides journaling, do you enjoy photography? I love capturing moments with my camera. Have you ever tried photography as a hobby?
Photography is such a rewarding hobby. I've dabbled in it a bit, especially when traveling. There's something so fulfilling about capturing the perfect shot. Do you prefer taking photos of nature, portraits, or maybe cityscapes? It's fun to explore different styles of photography.
Great question, Thomas. I'm more into nature photography. It's amazing how a picture can capture the beauty of the outdoors. What about you? Do you have a favorite subject or theme when taking photos? Photography often leads to beautiful memories.
That's awesome, Jennifer. I've been experimenting with landscape photography lately. I love how each landscape tells a different story depending on the light and the environment. Do you have any tips for beginners who want to get into photography? I'm sure there are great beginner resources out there.
I'd recommend starting with simple equipment. You don't need an expensive camera to begin. A smartphone with a good camera can be a great starting point. Another tip would be to experiment with lighting, as it changes everything in a photo. What do you think about photo editing, Thomas?
Editing is a crucial part of photography. It's like finishing a piece of art. I use editing tools to enhance the photos I take. There are so many apps out there for beginners. What about you, Jennifer? Do you use any editing apps or software? It's amazing what a little editing can do.
I do, Thomas. I love using apps like Lightroom and Snapseed. They're great for tweaking lighting, contrast, and saturation. The right editing tools can turn an average picture into something special. Do you have a favorite photo editing technique you use most often?
For me, I like playing around with black and white edits. It adds a timeless feel to photos. But sometimes I go for vibrant colors, especially in nature shots. Do you prefer classic or modern styles when editing photos? Photography editing is so creative, and there's no right or wrong approach.
I think I prefer a mix of both. Sometimes a black and white shot captures emotion better, while a vibrant photo shows energy. It all depends on the mood of the photo. Moving on to another hobby, Thomas, do you play any sports? Sports can be another great way to stay active and social.
I've always loved playing tennis. It's a great way to stay fit, and it's also very social. You can meet a lot of new people while playing. Do you enjoy any team sports, Jennifer, or are you more into solo activities like tennis? Sports can be so energizing and rewarding.
I love team sports. I play volleyball whenever I get the chance. The teamwork aspect is so motivating, and the energy from the team can be incredible. What's your favorite part about playing tennis? Is it the strategy, the exercise, or something else?
Great question, Jennifer. I enjoy the strategy behind tennis, the way you have to think a few steps ahead. It's also a fantastic workout. Do you have any tips for people who want to start playing sports but don't know where to begin? Getting started can be intimidating, but it's worth it.
Start with the basics and don't worry about being perfect. Join a beginner's class or play for fun with friends. The most important thing is to enjoy the process. Sports are great for personal growth and connecting with others. Any last thoughts on hobbies, Thomas?
I agree, Jennifer. Hobbies bring people together and enrich our lives in so many ways. Whether it's photography, sports, or cooking, they help us grow as individuals. So go ahead, try something new and see where your passion takes you.
Traveling has always been a passion of mine. It's not just about visiting new places, but also learning about different cultures and meeting new people. For instance, my recent trip to Italy opened my eyes to a whole new way of life. Have you ever been to Italy, Thomas? What's your favorite destination?
I've been to Italy, Jennifer. I agree. It's an incredible destination. The food, the culture, the architecture, it's all amazing. Personally, I think the Amalfi Coast is one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. The views are breathtaking. Have you explored the coastal areas of Italy or mainly stayed in cities?
I've been to the Amalfi Coast too, Thomas, and I must say it's one of the most picturesque places I've ever seen. The cliffs and the crystal clear water make for a stunning combination. When I visited, I did some hiking along the coastline, and it was so peaceful. Do you prefer coastal destinations or more urban areas when you travel?
Great question, Jennifer. I tend to lean more toward coastal destinations. There's something about the tranquility and the beauty of nature that draws me in. However, urban destinations have their own charm. Cities like Barcelona or New York offer incredible culture and excitement. What kind of environment do you prefer when traveling?
I love the balance of both. Urban cities give you so much to explore, but coastal or nature-based destinations allow for relaxation and connection with the environment. Last year, I visited Costa Rica and explored its rainforests. Have you been to any tropical destinations, Thomas? Costa Rica is a great spot for adventure and relaxation.
Costa Rica is high on my list. It's known for its incredible biodiversity. I love the idea of exploring the rainforests and seeing exotic wildlife up close. I've been to Hawaii a few times, and the tropical experience there was unforgettable. The lush landscapes, volcanoes, and beautiful beaches really set it apart. Have you visited any other tropical destinations?
Hawaii is amazing. I've visited a few times as well, and the laid-back vibe there is so refreshing. Aside from Costa Rica, I recently went to Bali, and it was a paradise. The beaches, temples, and rice terraces were absolutely stunning. Bali is full of spiritual and cultural experiences. Do you prefer destinations with rich cultural history or natural beauty, Thomas?
Both are appealing to me, Jennifer. Cultural history adds depth to a place, like when I visited Egypt and saw the ancient pyramids. But natural beauty is hard to beat. Places like the Swiss Alps are truly magnificent. How do you decide on your travel destinations? Do you prefer guided tour or exploring independently?
I typically prefer independent exploration because it allows for more flexibility. However, guided tour can provide insights into a location's history that you might miss on your own. When I went to Japan, I joined a local food tour, which was an amazing experience. Are you more into adventure travel or cultural exploration?
I'd say I'm a mix of both. I love hiking and outdoor adventures, but I also enjoy immersing myself in the local culture. I once traveled to Peru to hike Machu Picchu, and the combination of adventure and cultural history made it unforgettable. What about you, Jennifer? Any favorite hiking destinations?
Machu Picchu is definitely a bucket list destination. For hiking, I would recommend the Inca Trail or even the Dolomites in Italy. The views and the challenge of reaching the summit are so rewarding. Do you enjoy the challenge of hiking to remote locations, or do you prefer more accessible trails?
I appreciate both types of trails. Sometimes it's nice to take an easier route and enjoy the scenery without too much exertion. But I also love the thrill of reaching a remote peak that few people have seen. In the end, hiking is all about enjoying nature. Have you ever gone on a hiking trip that changed your perspective on the outdoors?
Yes, I did. When I hiked the Patagonia region in Argentina, it truly changed how I see nature. The vastness of the glaciers and the wild terrain made me realize how small we are in comparison. Nature has such power to humble and inspire. Do you have any travel memories that made a lasting impact on you?
One memory that stands out was when I hiked in the Canadian Rockies. The rugged mountains, crystal clear lakes, and untouched forests left me in awe. That trip really opened my eyes to how amazing and peaceful our planet is. Sometimes it's easy to forget how beautiful nature is when we're busy with daily life. Have you had any unforgettable encounters with wildlife during your travels?
That sounds incredible, Thomas. I've had a few memorable wildlife encounters, especially in Africa. On a safari in Kenya, I saw a pride of lions up close, and it was both thrilling and humbling. Nature has this way of surprising you, making every moment feel unique. Have you had any wildlife encounters that left you speechless?
Absolutely, Jennifer. I had an unforgettable experience in South Africa when I saw elephants in the wild. They were so majestic and graceful as they walked through the bush, it felt like witnessing something sacred. Have you ever visited a national park or wildlife sanctuary that you'd recommend to others?
Yes, Yellowstone National Park in the U.S. is one I'd highly recommend. It's full of geysers, hot springs, and diverse wildlife like bison and wolves. The park offers so many outdoor activities, from hiking to wildlife viewing. National parks like Yellowstone really showcase the beauty of our planet. Do you have a favorite park or reserve?
I'd have to say Banff National Park in Canada is one of my favorites. The turquoise lakes, towering mountains, and wild animals are incredible. I also love the variety of activities available, from skiing in the winter to hiking in the summer. Nature is always beautiful, no matter the season. Do you like to visit national parks during particular seasons?
I do. Visiting national parks during the fall can be magical with the changing leaves, but summer is perfect for hiking and exploring. I've also visited in winter when everything is covered in snow, and it feels like a winter wonderland. What season do you find the most appealing for travel, Thomas?
Each season has its charm, but I tend to enjoy spring for its pleasant weather and blooming flowers. It's a time when many destinations come alive with lush landscapes and comfortable temperatures for outdoor adventures. What season do you find most inspiring when you travel?
I think I enjoy autumn the most. The colors of the fall foliage are so captivating, and the cooler temperatures are perfect for outdoor activities. Plus, it's harvest season in many places, so you get to experience seasonal food. What about food, Thomas? Do you have a favorite travel destination for culinary experiences?
Oh, absolutely. I think the best food experiences come from local street food. Thailand, for instance, has an amazing street food culture. From pad thai to mango sticky rice, everything is fresh and delicious. Do you have a favorite food destination, Jennifer, or a dish that you can't resist when traveling?
Cultural traditions are such an important part of our identity and the way we connect with the world around us. Each country and culture has its unique customs, rituals, and celebrations that make them special. For example, in Spain, the tradition of the running of the bulls is quite famous. Have you ever experienced any cultural traditions like that, Thomas?
I've had the chance to experience a few, Jennifer. One that stands out is the Japanese tea ceremony. It's a very intricate ritual that involves a lot of attention to detail and respect for the person you're sharing the tea with. I was amazed by how much thought goes into the preparation. What about you, Jennifer? Have you participated in a unique cultural ceremony?
Yes, Thomas. When I visited India, I took part in the celebration of Diwali, the Festival of Lights. It was such an enlightening experience with vibrant decorations, delicious food, and family gatherings. The energy was incredible, and everyone was so welcoming. Have you ever been to India, Thomas? I'm sure there are many cultural experiences there that would fascinate you.
India is high on my list, Jennifer. I've heard so much about the rich history and culture. One tradition that I find fascinating is Holi, the Festival of Colors. People throw colored powders at each other and celebrate with music and dancing. It sounds like such a fun way to unite people and embrace joy. Do you have a favorite tradition, Jennifer, that you look forward to every year?
I definitely look forward to Thanksgiving every year. It's a time for family to come together and reflect on the things we're grateful for. We share a big meal, play games, and enjoy each other's company. It's a simple tradition, but it's so meaningful. What about you, Thomas? Do you have any personal traditions that hold special significance?
Thanksgiving sounds wonderful. For me, Christmas has always been a special tradition. I love the joy of decorating the tree, singing carols, and spending time with family. The holiday season brings so much warmth and happiness. I also enjoy the tradition of giving back during this time. Do you have any holiday traditions that have evolved over the years?
I love that idea of giving back, Thomas. Over the years, my family has started volunteering at a local food bank during the holiday season. It's a great way to connect with the community and make a positive impact. We also enjoy baking together, a tradition that's been passed down from my grandmother. How about you? Have you ever volunteered during the holidays or taken part in any charity events?
Yes, Jennifer. I believe in the importance of giving back. Last year, I helped organize a toy drive for children in need. It was incredibly fulfilling to see how our efforts made a difference in so many young lives. It also reminded me of the importance of gratitude. On a lighter note, do you have a favorite holiday tradition related to food?
Oh, food is definitely a central part of any tradition. For me, it's baking cookies with my family. We always make gingerbread, sugar cookies, and a few others. It's such a fun tradition that fills the house with wonderful smells. What about you, Thomas? Is there a specific food that's part of your holiday traditions?
I'm with you. Jennifer, food is a big part of the holidays. For my family, it's all about the Christmas feast. We have turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and lots of pie. There's something so comforting about enjoying a delicious meal with loved ones. Have you ever tried any unusual dishes during your travels that you were surprised by?
Oh, absolutely. When I was in Thailand, I tried a dish called samtam, a spicy papaya salad. It was so much spicier than I expected, but the combination of flavors was incredible. I love how food can be such a window into a culture. Have you ever traveled to a place where you were surprised by the local food, Thomas?
I can relate. Jennifer, when I visited Morocco, I was introduced to couscous and tagine, to dishes I had never tried before. The spices and the flavors were so different from anything I had eaten before. It was an amazing experience to dive into such rich culinary traditions. Is there a specific type of cuisine that you enjoy exploring during your travels?
Moroccan cuisine sounds incredible, Thomas. For me, I always enjoy exploring Mediterranean food. The fresh vegetables, olive oil, and seafood make it so light and flavorful. Last year, I spent some time in Greece and fell in love with dishes like moussaka and souvlaki. I can't wait to go back. Do you have a favorite Mediterranean dish, Thomas?
Greek food is amazing. I agree with you, Jennifer. I love Greek salads with the freshness of cucumbers, olives, and feta. But if I had to choose a favorite, it would be gyros. The combination of meat, pita, and tzatziki sauce is irresistible. Now, let's shift gears a bit. What about traditional dances? Do you enjoy experiencing local dances during your travels?
Yes, local dances are such a great way to connect with the culture. When I was in Argentina, I took a tango lesson in Buenos Aires. It was so much fun, even though I wasn't the best dancer, but the music and energy were contagious. Have you ever tried learning a traditional dance, Thomas? I'd love to hear your experience.
I've always wanted to learn tango, Jennifer. When I was in Ireland, I had the opportunity to try Irish step dancing, and it was quite the experience. The fast footwork and coordination took some practice, but the sense of community and tradition made it so much fun. It's a great way to engage with the culture. Have you ever seen a cultural performance that left a lasting impression?
I've seen many, but one that stands out was when I visited Bali, and I watched a traditional Balinese dance performance. The costumes were so vibrant, and the dancers' movements were so graceful. It was a beautiful expression of their culture and spirituality. Have you ever attended a traditional festival, Thomas, that you'd recommend?
That sounds like a wonderful experience, Jennifer. One festival that really stands out to me is the Carnival in Brazil. The energy, the music, and the costumes are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's a celebration of life and culture, and the performances are so lively and vibrant. Have you ever been to a cultural festival that made you feel truly immersed in the local culture?
I have. The Day of the Dead celebrations in Mexico were something truly special. The way the community honors and celebrates their loved ones with colorful altars, food offerings, and dancing is a beautiful tradition. It made me appreciate how different cultures view life and death. Have you ever attended a cultural event that shifted your perspective on life, Thomas?
Absolutely, Jennifer. I think attending the Chinese New Year celebrations in China really helped me appreciate the importance of family and tradition. The significance of the reunion dinner, the red lanterns, and the dragon dance made me realize how important cultural traditions are in shaping our values. It was a powerful experience. What's a tradition that you think should be shared globally?
One tradition that I think could really unite people is the idea of a shared meal. In many cultures, meals bring people together. Whether it's a family dinner, a feast with friends, or a communal dish, food has the power to connect us. I'd love to see more global food-sharing traditions where people from different backgrounds come together to celebrate. What do you think, Thomas?
I agree with you, Jennifer. Sharing meals is a universal way of building connections. It breaks down barriers and opens up conversations. It's not just about food, it's about the stories and experiences we share around the table. I hope that more people can embrace these types of traditions to foster unity and understanding across cultures.
That's all for today's episode on cultural traditions from around the world. We hope you enjoyed hearing about some fascinating customs and experiences.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and keep practicing your English with us. We'll see you next time.